Our special meeting this evening, asking all council members to please turn on your microphone. For the audience, we have agendas for this special meeting that should be placed on the table in the back. So, once again, good evening. Honorable City Council members, Mayor, Madam Treasurer, City Attorney, Chief of Staff, to our Deputy Clerk, and to all of you who are with us this evening. Today's date is Monday, April 27th, 2026, and this is the City of Romulus City Council Special Meeting Study Session. This meeting is to discuss the rezoning and special land use and site plan for Pilot Travel Center located at 10250 Vining Road. And at this time, we will have roll call. Councilwoman Abdo.
Here.
Councilman Bullock.
Here.
Councilman Jones. I don't see him here, Madam Clerk. Is he excused?
Oh, he's excused. Sorry.
So noted. Councilwoman Roscoe.
Here.
Councilwoman Talley.
Here.
Councilman Wadsworth.
Here.
And Councilman Wilhite.
Here.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Tonight's special meeting agenda is as follows. Number 1, roll call. Number 2, agenda. Number 3, discussion. Number 4, public comment. And number 5, adjournment. And a motion will be in order to accept the special meeting study session as presented.
So moved to accept the agenda for the study session.
Support. Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, seconded by Ms. Roscoe for the approval of the special meeting agenda as presented. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wilhite?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Bullock?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Number 3 is discussion. And again, the topic of this discussion is the Pilot Travel Center rezoning, special land use, and site plan review. And I'm not sure who's going to lead the discussion this evening.
You get us started with Janitas? Okay.
Good evening, council. This is one, they're gonna have a presentation for you. This is one that we worked through and went through planning commission a little bit of time ago. Planning commission recommended to city council, and then we're having this study session. They're gonna present it's a property over on, right off Vining in 94. That's a pie-shaped piece that's currently zoned M2, and I'll be able to talk a lot more about the details.
Thank you, honorable council members, Mr. Mayor, Deputy Clerk. Appreciate your assistance, as well as Mrs. May's assistance through this process. A quick introduction, and then we have a short video, and then the balance of our presentation tonight. I'm Patrick Aptula. I'm Vice President of Development for Pilot Company. I want to express my sincere appreciation to the Romulus City Council and its residents for their consideration of our project. I especially want to thank city staff for guiding us through this stringent process. It has been a pleasure working with all of you. We have heard every comment at every step, loud and clear, and have adjusted accordingly. I'm here as a 29-year team member of Pilot and bring experience as well as authority to have a healthy discussion and hopefully put to rest any concerns you and the residents express. It would be impossible for me to do that without the amazing team that's with me tonight, who will present their appropriate sections of our presentation in their areas of expertise. And I've worked with them for a very long time. So with that, we'll go ahead and cue up the video, please. A quick timeline. The founder of Pilot, Jim Haslam, was born in Detroit and served in the Korean War. Following graduation from the University of Tennessee, a leader, a personal hero, and a philanthropic giant. In 1958, Mr. Haslam purchased a single gas station in Gate City, Virginia, for the sum of $6,000. By the turn of the 20th century, Pilot grew exponentially through multiple acquisitions as well as brick and mortar construction, Speedway Travel Centers, Williams, Wilco, Hess, to name a few. On July 1st, 2010, an opportunity to join Pilot and Flying J, the two largest travel center operators in the United States, became reality, and immediately created the largest travel center operator in North America. Pilot has been named the Forbes Top 100 Privately Held Companies multiple times and ranked as high as number 5 on the elite list in 2022 with $42 billion in revenue. Fast forward to 2023, when Berkshire Hathaway realized Pilot's value and purchases the company, taking full ownership and control in 2024. In 2025, Time Magazine was quoted to say, billionaire investor Warren Buffett, CEO and chair of Berkshire Hathaway, has indelibly shaped modern giving. Buffett's philanthropy has long focused on education, agriculture, and anti-poverty programs, among other efforts. It's been an amazing ride for me for almost 30 years. That brings us to today. I tell you this not to brag about Pilot's financial stability, but to instill confidence and reinforce that if approved, we will stand out as a positive contributor to this community, a company that prioritizes safety, people, and relationships over profits. Romulus is an amazing hub of commerce, a gateway to the United States, but it's a community first. We would be honored to build and operate a Pilot travel center in Romulus. These are the various brands that are controlled by Pilot Company. If you think about hotel chains, you have various levels of properties and offerings. Pilot being our pinnacle brand is what we want to build new here in Romulus. This shows the map of our coverage across the country, including Canada. Two brands mainly pictured here, Pilot, Flying J, and the 1-9 network with varying brands below that. Our travel center enhancements. Berkshire Hathaway invests deeply into our existing fleet, $600 million annually. This is a cadenced approach to improving existing facilities. We grow by 5 to 7 new sites a year, but it's a very targeted approach. Most of our investment is in our existing fleet. No matter where you land on alternative energy, we want to be at the forefront. Whether it be our partnership with General Motors or our entrance into hydrogen plants or heavy-duty truck charging, we want to be at the forefront. I think our partnership with GM Energy says a lot about our company and theirs, in that they decided to partner with us. And they're extremely excited to be in Romulus. With that, I'll turn it over to Christy Snyder, project manager over this build in Romulus, to talk about things that we do outside of Pilot, to be a great neighbor, to be a great participant in the community.
As Patrick mentioned, my name is Christy Snyder. I have been at Pilot going on 28 years, and it's been, like he said, a great ride for me. I started super young. One thing that drew me to Pilot is their philanthropy and how involved in communities they are, not just in Knoxville where we're based, but all over the country where we have Pilot travel centers. We're focused on a long-term relationship, not a one-time approval. I've done other projects where I still have towns calling me. I always answer the phone. Anybody on my team will answer the phone. If anything comes up, any questions, we're super approachable. We always call you back, we'll answer, and we'll get a problem solved if there is a problem. Like I mentioned before, we are very involved in our communities. Each store employs 40 to 60 team members. We encourage all of those team members to become involved in the community, volunteering, showing up at events. We just want them to be a part of the community and be involved. We also have a program through our New Horizons new store openings. And when after we open a new store, we invest $10,000 to $20,000 to the local school district. So that's after we open. And then this support is provided at every new store opening and helping communities from day one, showing we're here, we're going to be a good community partner. We also do regional community investment. We do national. We're very involved in education, very involved in veterans and military families. We do Wreaths Across America. We also help when there's a natural disaster or a crisis. We jump in anywhere, and help if there's flooding, fire, tornadoes, catastrophic events. We want to be there for our team members and for the community that we're in. The next thing I want to talk about is an organization that Pilot's involved in called Truckers Against Trafficking. Pilot has been directly represented on U.S. DOT Advisory Committee on Human Trafficking. Pilot has trained thousands of team members with Truckers Against Trafficking since 2018. As part of this organization that we're involved in, we have a National Truck Driver Appreciation Week campaign, and Truckers Against Trafficking come into our stores. We set up tables. We have information, giveaways to educate truckers on how to handle trafficking. See something, say something, do something. That's a very strong motto within the Pilot organization. To date, truck drivers have made thousands of tips about human trafficking to the national hotline and local law enforcement, leading to the identification of countless victims. So this is very important to us. We've been a platinum sponsor of Truckers Against Trafficking since 2018. That, now this part of the presentation, I'm going to turn over to Evan. Evan is our senior real estate manager.
Good evening, everybody. First of all, I'll reiterate kind of what Patrick mentioned. Thank you guys for having us, Mr. Mayor, Kevin. You guys have all been a great resource to us. We appreciate the staff and all the feedback that you've given us, and hopefully tonight we'll address a couple of the previous concerns when we presented before you guys. Unlike the folks behind me, I don't quite have as much longevity as they do. I've only been with Pilot about 2 years, but I have something they don't, and it's this fancy quarter set. So I have that going for me. But anyway, I want to go to the next slide here real quick. Oh, clicker, sorry. So why Romulus? So this site is a pretty unique site for us. It's located at I-95 and I-94, excuse me, and 275. We firmly believe that this site, in highest and best use, is for our use as a travel center for a few main reasons, mostly because it's constrained by the wetlands and also challenged by airport height, being so close to the airport there, as well as restrictions due to degraded soil. The other aspect of this, and a lot of the topic of conversation has been, well, the trucks that you guys are going to bring to the site is going to cause disruption. Our view on this is that the trucks are already located here, and we're just providing a service to those individuals and those folks that are working so hard to make sure that our packages are delivered, that grocery stores are stocked, et cetera, et cetera. Another aspect of this is the economic development piece of it. We're a large economic engine for all those communities that we serve locally across the country, and we will do so here in Romulus as well. So the truck piece of it, that leads to the next slide. You guys can kind of see on this slide here, the ADT count for trucks on I-94 is 15,000 trucks a day, and on I-275, it's 11,000 trucks per day. This puts you guys in the top 25% of truck corridors in all of the country. And you guys are top 10 of any location throughout the country. You're up there with Dallas, you're up there with Los Angeles, you're up there with Chicago as far as trucks that you guys have kind of circulating through your community as it stands today. And again, we're just asking to serve those current trucks, not bring more truck traffic to the community. Another aspect of this, and something that we believe will be a huge benefit to the community, is all the beautiful tilt up that you guys have, the distribution centers that are located here in Romulus. Those folks need places to fuel. Those folks need services. And again, we think that we can be hugely beneficial when it comes to that. So next slide, just kind of continuing the aspect of the freight environment here locally. You guys move 212 million tons of freight through the Romulus area, and 74% of that is moved by trucks. That's in comparison to the rest of the nation, which is about 55%. And again, I'll reiterate, you guys are top 10 national when it comes to trucks that are already serving this corridor. Then the last piece of it that I mentioned earlier is the economic impact. Obviously, we have a huge tax revenue impact that will have a great benefit to the city of Romulus. 50 jobs created locally here in your community, people that live, eat, and support you all here, creating jobs, 1.6 million in annual payroll, and about $500,000 in tax revenue per year, with about a $17 million build cost. And on that note, I'm going to pass it over to Brad also, who's a subject matter expert in this area, and he's going to take you through some of the technical aspects of the project. Thank you.
Good evening. Brad also oversees development for Pilot. I was the main voice, I guess, that anybody who was in the Planning Commission heard. Been at Pilot for 22 years as a project manager and then as a director over the team that manages our development and remodel projects. I want to talk to you a little bit about the properties. We've talked a lot about Pilot. We've talked about your community. Many of the things you're probably already aware of. So let's talk a little bit about the property itself. As indicated, it's at I-94 and Vining Road. It's a wedge-shaped piece of property. A property that has been undeveloped primarily throughout its history, but they're based on historical imagery and some information we've gotten from staff and residents. It was once a DPW staging area as they were building infrastructure in the area. So if you look back in time through historical aerials, you'll see some partially developed areas, some piles of debris. Today everything is kind of grassed and treed over. We are committed to, as we develop this site, to remediate any issues that we find. We've done a phase 1 and phase 2 investigation of the site. We are not aware of any contamination, but anything that we find as we deal with the development would be fully remediated to make sure that we have the best use for the property and the best thing for your community. As we go to the kind of getting into the meat of it, right, we're asking for a conditional rezoning, a special use permit, and then we have already gone through Planning Commission and the site plan has been approved subject to those two things being approved. So the current zoning classification is M2. The truck stop use is not allowed in M2. We are seeking to be rezoned to MT, which would allow a truck stop use as a special use permit, and that's hence our request. The surrounding properties, as you can see, oh, I just wrote it, sorry. I was looking for an arrow or a laser. I'll just talk through it then, sorry about that. All right, you can see all of the property, the pilot property or subject property is the triangle that's outlined in red. Everything to the left of that, which I guess would be to the west, is zoned M2. That's what all the gray is. You can see the kind of purplish property to the east of Vining Road is the airport, as you're aware. And then you get north of 94 and you get into more industrial zone properties. So having an industrial property, an MT in this area fits nicely within the existing uses. The property to the east of us are primarily zoned industrial, and you can see some truck intensive uses around those things, around those properties. So, you know, it aligns with the existing industrial development along Goddard Road, and based on the master plan, an MT use aligns with the master plan. It complements those adjacent uses, And I think it's important to note that we have gone through the staff process, we have gone through the planning commission process, and your city experts have recommended that this is consistent with the intent of your city zoning documents and master plan documents. So we're certainly seeking to fall within that. Next, we look at the existing road conditions. So several areas of interest here. Vining Road and I-94 Service Drive, and I will talk about this a little bit more in detail on the next slide, but we're proposing to update the northbound Vining Road geometry as it approaches the Service Drive, which kind of turns and goes north of the airport. Wayne County has jurisdiction over that intersection. We have worked with them, their traffic engineers and our traffic engineer, and who is well known to the city, and gotten that approved to be able to make those striping changes. And again, I will point that out on the next slide. We also looked at Vining Road and the south driveway to the site, which will be the entry and exit point to our property for trucks. One of the concerns that was expressed is trucks leaving our site, and instead of heading north back to I-94, that they might go south down Vining Road and get into areas where you don't want trucks. We have agreed to and desire to put up appropriate directional signage, which will inform drivers truck drivers that they need to go back to the north to get back onto the interstate to continue their journey wherever they're going. We want them to head back north to I-94. And again, we updated our traffic study at the Planning Commission's request to reflect that change and show that all of our levels of service will still well within the acceptable ranges. We were also asked to take a look at Wayne Road / Vining Road and Eureka Road down to the south. The intersection was added into the analysis of our traffic study. It currently operates acceptably according to the traffic study standards that are accepted by the state, city, and county. One of the things that came out of that was, well, maybe the existing timing. If you're a resident here, maybe you run into some slowdowns there, that maybe the existing timing needed to be evaluated. Wayne County has done that even since this presentation was put together. We've heard from Wayne County that they have checked it and things are in good shape now. But after we build, certainly that can be reevaluated to make sure that no additional timing changes were needed. And again, there was no construction that was needed with that. It was truly a matter of just updating the timing of the signal to make sure it serves all of the roadways at the intersection appropriately. This is a little bit of an eye chart, but talking about the Vining Road and the Service Road intersection. The top is the existing condition. You guys live here, you're familiar with that. If you're northbound, there's 2 lanes. The outside lane is a right turn only from Vining Road onto the Service Drive. The inner lane is a through. One of the concerns that was brought up by the Planning Commission is that's not the most efficient way of that intersection operating. So our traffic engineer, Julie Kroll, went to Wayne County, talked with them, and they have agreed that what we do need to do as part of that intersection is restripe it. Very simply, you would have the inner lane would be through, just as it is today. The outside lane, which is currently a right turn lane, would be a through and right turn lane. So you'd still have 2 through lanes, or you would have 2 through lanes going up toward the interstate ramps, but you could still make the right turn onto the Service Drive. As part of, and we would do that restriping as part of our construction with the other road work we would be doing. The other thing that's important to note is, as part of our development, you can see our site is to the north. All of the colored portion is Vining Road. To the right side, you can see our northern driveway. That would be for cars, passenger vehicles only. The driveway to the south, to the left, would be for cars and trucks, entry and exit. And for both driveways, we would have a right turn deceleration lane, so southbound deceleration lane going into the driveways to make sure that trucks can get out of the way of through traffic, and cars and trucks get out of the way of through traffic and be able to easily maneuver into our site in a safe manner. We would also have left turn lanes on Vining Road to get into to both driveways. So again, if you look at levels of service, I think I'm correct in saying that none of that is actually required based on the levels of service, but it's something that we thought was important to do, and obviously working with the various agencies, it shows that is the right thing to do for this site, and we certainly want to do the right thing with that. Okay, so looking at the site a little closer, this site's not just a wide open facility where anybody can come and go from any direction, right? It's a controlled, it's a well-managed facility. Our design prioritizes keeping trucks off the city streets and routing them quickly back onto I-94, right? It's been mentioned that maybe there is a truck parking problem, trucks parking in areas where they really shouldn't be. So our goal is to provide ample parking for trucks so that they can come to our site, get all of the services they need safely, and get off of your city streets, not park in neighborhoods, not park in other businesses where they don't belong. We do that with directional circulation, making sure that the flow of traffic on our site is very clearly delineated. We do that with clear signage on the site and at the entrances to make sure people know where they're supposed to go so they can get there safely. Again, the road improvements we talked about, we certainly want people to be able to access our site and your roadways with no problems. And then just the overall layout of the site, which I'll talk through in a moment, designed to keep trucks and cars both going where they're supposed to, keep them separated on site as best as possible, and to provide the best situation for your community and our guests. We look closely at lighting, where we comply with your city's lighting ordinances. Noise, I know, is something that gets brought up. You're immediately adjacent to I-94, or the site is immediately adjacent to I-94 and a railroad and an airport, right? Those are all major noise generators. The ambient noise will significantly dwarf the noise that is on site with our customers. We see that in a lot of locations where we build, that you've got, we're always right up, or almost always right up against an interstate or a major highway, and the noise from the road is significantly louder than the on-site noise. Air quality is another thing that has been brought up as a potential concern. Since 2006, it has been illegal in the United States to sell anything except for ultra-low sulfur diesel. That's important because prior to that, we used low sulfur diesel, which was 500 parts per million sulfur. Now we're at 15 parts per million sulfur. That helped to reduce those sulfurous emissions by close to 95%. Since 2010, all heavy-duty trucks are required to have a diesel emissions system of some type. The one that's been adopted in the United States is diesel exhaust fluid. It reduces noxious emissions by approximately 96%. So what we're doing is the air quality coming out of trucks, in many cases, the air is cleaner, the exhausts are cleaner than what's coming out of a lot of cars on the road. We sell ultra-low sulfur diesel, as do all competitors, right? We also, at our diesel dispensers and in our stores and jugs, we sell the diesel exhaust fluid that these trucks need to be able to meet those emission standards. So, those are things that we do to help deal with any air quality concerns. We also use, again, those are kind of modern standards. We use a screening for landscaping, fencing as necessary, and then some operational controls to help ensure a safe, clean, and efficient operation. You can look, again, a little bit of an eye chart here. The road map to the left kind of highlights the proximity to residential areas. I'm going to have to zoom in myself here. To the, I guess that would be to the west of the site, you're about 0.9 miles away as a car would drive from residential. And if you go north of 94, it's approximately 1.5 miles. So we're fairly far away from any residential uses, certainly not immediately adjacent to any residential uses. Everything close to us is either transportation, your airport, or industrial. Finally, we want to look at the site plan itself. So, let's see if I do have it. Do we know if there are laser on this? The middle? Oh, look at there. Perfect. I want to walk over and have to point. All right, so you can see this is the car driveway. That would be our northern driveway, truck driveway, vining roads along the bottom. Just want to make sure we're oriented. So here in the front, we've got our gas fueling positions. It's 6 dispensers, 12 fueling positions for passenger vehicles. You got our travel center building with the convenience store, the driver amenities, and a Wendy's restaurant, which would be, the drive-through loop would be on the south side of the building. Behind the building, you've got our truck fueling lanes. There are 8 fueling positions. And then also just to the west of that, kind of little white area is the truck weigh scale. There's about 142 parking spaces, truck parking spaces on this. Apologize, that slide says 120. We had previously proposed a repair facility. We pulled that off and added the parking back in, so 142 truck parking places. At the request of the Planning Commission, to the north of the building, we added in a dog park so that guests who visit our facility, long road trip, whether you're a truck driver or a family passing through, you got your pet with you, you want to give your puppy a place to run and do his business, well, we've got a dog park for that. And then Patrick mentioned our partnership with GM Energy. To the south of the drive-through, you'll see another little parking area that looks different. That is 8 electric vehicle charging positions. That would be the largest installation of EV chargers that we have at one of our facilities in our partnership with GM Energy. And that's important to them because this is home, right? This is Detroit. That's something that they really wanted to have a great presence here. We wanted them to have a great presence. So added that to more than normal to our site plan. A couple of things I think are important to note as far as truck flow. Again, the northern entrance is just for cars. The southern entrance is for cars and trucks, but it is your primary entrance and exit point for trucks. So trucks would come in from Vining Road. They would go through the site, approach the fueling lanes, fuel, and then they can circulate through the site to park or to come back out the same driveway. We try to provide plenty of space for trucks to queue while they're waiting to fuel. This is really more than average for us to have a queuing line, so we should not have any issues with trucks queuing and backing up onto the roadway. The site has several constraints that many sites don't have. You can see to the north here, we've got, the blue is kind of our detention pond area that we've designed to take care of stormwater. But below that, you'll see some areas with different colors. Those are existing wetlands. We designed the site to avoid impacts to wetlands to the greatest extent possible. We do have some wetlands impacts as we cross with our driveways. We've worked with Eagle to keep that disturbance as minimal as possible and to get their blessing on those crossings and to preserve the existing drains that are in place. We also have a gas pipeline that comes along Vining Road, so we had to be set back further than normal to avoid building on top of that. We can park, but that's about it. We would be extending some water and sewer lines that would come along the backside of the property to serve us, and then anything additional that would be built on the balance of the property. So this kind of gives you an overview and maybe a little bit more of the details of the site, how it operates, so that you can understand that what we're asking permission to build is a state-of-the-art facility. It's going to be in compliance with the city's regulations, and our desire is to serve the motoring public, trucks and cars, but also your community, which will be our community, because that's where our team members will live, and we want them to have a great place to live and to work. With that, I'm going to hand it over to security, back to you, Patrick, to talk about some security.
Lisa Trodica is here, and she's a celebrated leader in operations at Pilot. We heard loud and clear that crime prevention, safety was a concern. This was not even a second thought for Pilot. In particular, the request was made for basically full lot coverage with high-def cameras, and that is exactly what we intend to implement here. This depicts the coverage on the professional driver area. It will be the same on the auto area. We wanted to emphasize the truck side because that seemed to be the main concern, but we will have full coverage on this site. Lisa, do you want to talk about walks by your team?
Yes, so today, our team members do 3 walks required to be in what we call a shift readiness walk, and they're all electronic. So I, at any point in time, can be able to pull it up and be able to look at what they're doing, what pictures they're taking, whatever else that may be. And then as far as the camera systems go, I have full access to the cameras. Our office has the full access to the cameras. The GMs have full access to the cameras. So at any point in time, anybody would be able to pull up the camera system and see what's happening on site.
Obviously, safety is the most important thing to pilot, safety of its guests, safety of its team members, so we take it very seriously.
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Councilman Wilhite?
Yes.
Could we go back one more? So right there, I'm hoping that this is just an error, but it says that you're gonna have personnel on site from dawn to dusk.
Security.
It should be from dusk to dawn.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Thank
just
you.
wanted to make
Yes.
sure that you weren't gonna have somebody there during the day.
Correct.
That's what it
Any
meant,
other questions?
not at this point.
Were you guys done with your presentation, or can we
No.
open it up, or you got
We
more?
have, another section,
Okay.
Lance Champion, who leads all the design for pilot, will talk about the building a little bit.
Okay.
Thank you, Council. I'll be really quick. Just to talk about the building, just for a moment, we've talked from a site level to talk to the building now. This building is designed really jointly. Pilot brings our prototype design that we have implemented in all new builds. It continues to evolve. It has over the years. This facility will be our A-class facility. It's a facility that will bring a restaurant, as has been mentioned, Wendy's, as well as our Pilot Eats proprietary food program, which is great from a pizza and just full food offering. This facility will have 9 showers for the amenities for our drivers. It'll have a public laundry and a lounge area as they wait or have their time off the road. It's also focused for both the auto guests and our team. So from a full merchandise offering, retail, a time for restrooms, and as been mentioned, to support our fueling business. Our employees are just as important. We design our facilities inside and outside for both guest and team to have a great place to work. So I won't get into a ton of details about it inside the building unless there are questions. From the exterior of the building, we've worked with your staff to really design the materials of our building to be cohesive with the master plan, as well as the intent of the development in the area to really match and fit the area. And so that involves reselection of some of our building materials on the outside of the building. You can see those here. The quality of the building is the same from the front to the back. This is a 4-sided facility, I should say, and it is designed as such. So all drivers, all guests will have that same level of quality experience. Our brand shows up here from this is just a view from the auto fueling canopy and a rendering of the building of how the Wendy's and the Pilot sit together. And then at the inside, just our high-class facility, this is a view of our sales desk area. The sales desk intentionally sits between the 2 entry points. From a safety and security standpoint, our team can control those entry points and be able to welcome our guests into our store. This is just a view of the offering. There'll be partially in the very front of the store for our beverage area, as well as some common seating. And then our Pilot Eats, we would love to be able to welcome everyone to enjoy. I'll just want to say thank you. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for allowing us to go through this presentation tonight. And thank you for allowing us to be entertained, to be able to be part of your community. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to open it up. Mr. Wadsworth?
If I could, Madam Chairman, to the chair, I've got a comment and I got a question. Is there going to be overnight parking for the trucks?
Yeah, that's what Pilot is.
Which I presume there is.
Yeah, there will be parking allowed at this travel center, yes.
Okay, I don't doubt that this isn't a quality project, but I recently seen a loved one in Indiana, and it was out in the middle of nowhere where it was the only thing and nothing but farmland around there. To me, this looks like this is too much in a small area. That's my comment.
All set?
I got a question.
Mark?
On the site plan, we were talking, is there going to be scales at the location?
There is a scale at this location, yes, sir.
Where is that located at?
See if I can
You
pull
know?
it back up.
I mean, well, I know you know, but.
At the end of the diesel lanes,
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, so, right, all right.
it would follow the flow of the diesel lanes in the lot.
You good, Mark?
Yes, that's it.
James, did you have something?
Yes, I seen earlier, and this is to the young lady that was up here talking a minute ago. I seen that you have a community involvement for the community. Do you guys have anything in place for small businesses, like local businesses, as far as like the original construction and then the operations using Romulus small businesses for catering, lawn care, automotive, everything that you can think
Absolutely,
of?
we would entertain all resources available to us, sir.
Landscaping, yes.
We operate as our own general contractor, especially on the new builds, and we would entertain certainly local resources.
And then in your other locations where you guys have, you guys are set up, are you guys really close with working with local law enforcement as far as accessing video cameras, passing out information? You guys aren't really restrictive as far as
Not at all,
having
absolutely.
to pull that information?
Yeah, full cooperation.
Okay.
Celeste, did you have something?
Yes, I do. Through the chair. My main concern is the exit and entry and exit out of the facility itself. And not so much the entrance way, for your cars, but for the trucks. Because the lights are to the north of the property, and then to the south of the property, you have a stop sign at Goddard. So when the trucks come out of the facility to turn towards 94 to the north, they're going to have to wait for all the traffic to come across all those lanes to go back north. And my concern has been from the get-go that that's going to deter them from doing that when it's very busy and them just heading on south if they need to get on 275. And then, like I said, then you don't have a light, you have a stop sign at Goddard, which I know certain times of the day, it gets very busy and gets very backed up there. I use that route every single day to and from work. So that has been my main concern and issue with the project, is getting safely in and out of the facility, because of the fact that the lights that they have there on Vining now are working very well. I mean, the interchange with the timing of the lights, because like I said, I go through there all the time, because you've got 1, 2, you got 3 counting the one down there at Wick. But you're not going to have anything between the service drive and your exits and entries and the stop sign at Goddard Road. And I don't know what the fix is for that, but I am really concerned about that. You say you're going to have signage telling them to go this way, but when it's hard to get out of that facility to go back north, they're going to head the quickest and easiest way for them. That's my opinion. It's just my comment. It's not really a
We'll let him
question.
address that.
I'm sorry.
Happy to address that. As part of this process, we did a lot of modeling through the traffic studies, which have been reviewed and accepted by the various jurisdictions. And it shows that it works, because the stop signs will create gaps in the traffic. Julie Kroll, our traffic engineer, is here if you want her to speak of that a little bit more. But the modeling shows that it does work.
Did you want to bring her up?
Yes, please.
Yeah, please.
But because that is my main concern. I don't see that being a safe avenue coming in and out. Now, if you had a light there, that would stop traffic. I mean, because trucks are not a small car or pickup truck that is exiting out of there. You have, full-length semi-trucks.
Julie Kroll with Lisa Vandenbrink. We did the traffic study for the project, and I appreciate your concern. That was something that was brought up when we first started this project 2 years ago. And we did look at that, whether we could put a traffic signal in there. It did not meet the criteria for a traffic signal and that always stop. We did look at the improvements up at the service drive, and that's where Wayne County did agree with those intersections. But one of the things about the egress trucks, and I just looked at the queues that were expected to see on that driveway, and they were less than 100 feet. So that's gonna be like one truck that would be on that approach, or less than 3 cars on that south drive at any one time. But it's the peak period, so most of the trucks that are coming in and out of the site are not at the same time as the peak period at the adjacent street, because the truck drivers don't wanna leave, at 5 o'clock. They wanna go during the off-peak periods when there's less cars. So when we looked at it, those trucks have a different peaking characteristic than we would as a regular driver that's not driving a truck. So the trucks during those periods of the adjacent street were lower and therefore would have less impact on that driveway. To your point of, there are certain times of the day when it does back up, and the truck drivers do try to avoid those hours.
I have a question
You
on
good?
traffic.
Well, I need to get Ms. Abdo.
Is it on traffic?
Thank you. You have said that we, in this area, get about 26,000 trucks a day coming through here, and that this would just be servicing them. Perhaps it would also be encouraging more trucks to come through our area. The next statement I have is, the state has told us they're repairing I-94. They're going to be working on I-94 for the next 3 years between Wayne Road and just past Inkster, I believe. That's going to require more cars, more trucks going off the road to avoid the construction. This is not a good timing. And my next statement is, I have a petition here. I have petitions here with over 500 signatures of residents. We are elected to serve the people of Romulus, and the residents do not want this. 500 signatures right here in just a short time. They don't want this. And I was elected to represent the people. And the next thing, I don't see any tax, this is in our Tifa district. This is not gonna help raising our high taxes we have in Romulus. Those are my statements.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I had a question for the road, the traffic. The, coming out of the complex, going back, if you're going on to westbound westbound 94, you have to do the turnaround. I drove it yesterday. Is there gonna be any kind of a modification to that turnaround?
The existing,
Yes.
North of the freeway,
Yes.
that one should have been designed to accommodate trucks. That one was at the city's design. If it
Okay,
can't
well-
accommodate trucks, I would ask,
I drove it yesterday and it looked a little tight, but that was my only concern with and then with your complex, it's gonna be fenced all the way around, right? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
You good, Mark?
I think it was.
You got something else?
No, I just wanted to know about that turnaround. And I'm good.
Okay.
I'll have to ask.
Anybody else have any questions? Mayor?
Quick question. First, great presentation, and I appreciate you going to the planning commission, hearing the concerns of the residents and incorporating it to the plan. But you brushed on real quick something called the Pinnacle brand. You had mentioned when we had met earlier about Pilot trying to rebrand itself and come up with something new and a little bit more, and trying to lose that old version of what Pilot was before in the travel centers. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Lance, do you want to talk about that?
There's a lot of you up here. I don't know which one's the expert in the Pinnacle brand. And that's something that appealed to me because, well, we see a lot with gas stations in the area, As we see continued blight, and we're always after them. And we saw it a little bit with the Sheets development. When Sheets came in and they were new and they had something a little bit cleaner and more kept up, it encouraged the other ones to compete. And we called it the Sheets effect. I'm not trying to give Sheets another plug here, but we saw that. We saw it in multiple sites in the area that typically have code enforcement issues and some blight issues, and we're always out there trying to enforce it. So just tell me a little bit more about the Pinnacle brand and what that means and what your vision for the future is.
Sure, yeah, thank you for the question. You know, as Patrick talked about, Pilot has multiple brands. Patrick used the illustration of hotel brands that have different levels. When you think about those levels, none of those levels have any minimum that goes below a certain level of quality, if that makes sense. Think about the Hilton brands, for instance. Pilot's brands, we meet our guests where they are. So our 1-9 brands are really driven towards those quick in, quick out, less than 50 truck fleets, but can have access to a credit system that helps them run their business. The Pilot and Flying J brands, Pilot being our core, that's the brand that we started with in 1958. It is the best of our best, and that's really the facility size and the extent of offerings. The quality of all of our facilities that we develop today, whether it be a 1-9 brand, a Pilot brand, or a Flying J brand, each bring that same level of quality, safety being promised. It's guaranteed. And the level of the quality of the development, I would argue, of course I'm biased, being leader of design, that we'll give Sheets a run for their money with quality facility, both inside and outside.
Good. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of competition. And something else you guys mentioned as well, there's not a week that goes by here I'm not bugging Captain Harris about a semi parked somewhere on the roads. They do it all the time. You know, we were out doing citywide cleanup Saturday, and we saw a semi parked there on the side of the road. We had to call PD about it. Is there an app, or what is the tool so truckers know to, you know, that they need to be on a site that's approved for the location rather than parking on city streets? How do you guys get the word out to these guys?
There is a Pilot app. If you think about our customers, we have national fleets, and then we have independent fleets, but there is an app, and it will tell you, no different than Gas Buddy or anything like that, that will show the specific site, how many truck parking spots they have. In some locations, most of our locations, we have what we also call prime parking. That means that professional driver can get on the app and say, hey, I'm gonna stop at Romulus tonight and I'm already gonna pay for my parking, so I have a spot to go. I don't have to worry about parking alongside the street or parking off the interstate or anything like that, that he can reserve a spot, he or she can reserve a spot and have it ready for him when they get there.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's a point that's worth mentioning because the trucks are here already. It's the nature of the beast. They have a logistic city. And how do we corral them and keep them off and keep them out of our streets and protect our rural areas? We want to do that as much as possible and be proactive there. Also, another concern I heard at Planning Commission was that safety. So I was happy to see the increase in the security cameras there. Will PD have instant access to those? I believe before we had talked about having maybe using flock cameras. That's the citywide right now. Did you guys find out if you can use flock on your site or?
I'm not sure, but what I will say is the police officers do. They'll have to get with our corporate office, but that's a very quick turnaround.
Gotcha.
Very, very quick turnaround. And the other, I believe you might have asked the question, security. I'm a region manager, been in this role for nearly 16 years. And this particular facility, we plan on having, due to the concerns, on having overnight security. And I have 11 sites today, and that's not, I don't have that. So that is something that we've committed to, that we will have an overnight security department on site for any concerns that may happen. Flock
Great.
cameras, I'll let you speak to.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay. Mark, did your question answer about the left? You said.
The left-hand turn, I'm gonna, I guess I'll talk to Roberto about
Yeah,
that.
can
but-
you just make sure everything is addressed?
Good evening, Council. So just to provide a little bit of additional information, they did provide a traffic study for this site. And the level of service at the intersections, and there was a comment about the signalized intersections, those weren't compromised with the daily trips that had been proposed with the site. Now, I don't have all the numbers, but I know our engineers reviewed it, and we were very concerned with the volume that this site might bring. The other thing that I want to mention that I don't think exactly was mentioned tonight was that the Vining Road is going to inevitably have to be widened, and that's going to happen as part of this site. There's going to be 8-cell, tapers to this site. There'll be a standard through lane, there'll be a dedicated left-hand turn lane, and there'll be a passing lane all across the frontage of Pilot. And it's not to the point yet where it's getting engineering approval. So all the turning templates, we know that some of those Michigan lefts that I think, Councilman, you were mentioning,
Yes.
we know there might be some constraints there. They were supposedly designed for a 53-foot semi-trailer, but some of the drivers are not exactly hitting it right. During engineering review, we will have turning templates brought through our portion of the road, and if there needs to be modifications, we're certainly going to suggest that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can I have
Is there,
one more
James?
comment? This is more of a comment to council and to the city. I think like a big thing with this is like everyone's worried about traffic. If there's traffic on this road and it's semi-truck traffic, this could be a good thing for the city. And I say that because our downtown is struggling. As we all know, ever since this has been added there, everyone avoids downtown kind of. They avoid Wayne Road and they take Vining down and cut through. If we can get some more traffic towards Wayne Road, that'll mean more people will see that we have a downtown, that we have events going on, and maybe that'll attract more businesses to come to those places. We'll never get more grocery stores, we'll never get more business down there unless there's foot traffic and cars driving down our roads in that area. So if we're worried about semi-trucks, good. Let it get backed up, all the locals get off on Wayne Road and see our high school, see our new courthouse, and see what we got going on in downtown. And maybe that'll help bring our downtown back. That's all I got.
Thanks, James. Any other comments from the dais? Okay, close that out.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We are now at number 4, public comment, and this is the portion of the agenda for those of you who are in the audience and who would like to address City Council regarding tonight's special meeting agenda. To do so, please raise your hand, and after you've been acknowledged by the chairperson, approach the podium. We ask that you state your name, and then you will have 3 minutes to speak. Any additional time will be upon the consent of our chairperson. And again, your comments should just be directed to the subject matter for this special meeting, which is the Pilot Travel Center, the special land use and site plan. I do not have any written requests, Madam Chair, so.
So before we get started, let me just say this, that this is discussion purposes only. There is no action taken on this evening regarding this presentation. So let's just make sure that's clear. Secondly, pilot team, I just want you guys to be on hand after all the public comments are done to be able to address some of these comments as they come up during the discussion. So I just want you guys to be prepared to address them after that, okay? All right. Any questions from the audience? In the back?
Good evening, Council.
Hello.
My name is Aaron Lippert. So I spent a better part of a decade working for Pilot Flying J. As a general manager, I ran 12 locations in 7 states over that time. Known as like a broken wheel guy, going and fix stores that were broken. So my biggest concern as a Romulus citizen, by the way, Pilot's an amazing company to work for. I appreciated the whole decade of my life. My biggest concern is that left turn. So a semi-trailer is 53 feet. A semi is 83 feet. That would equal 2 semis pulling out when you're coming, if they're heading northbound on a left turn. The backup in a deceleration lane that was noted would hold 2 semis as well. So you're coming over Vining, coming from the highway to the location. You're coming down a big hill, you're gonna see a stoplight, and then the property with the deceleration lane from what I took from the presentation. So I would write down Sturbridge, Massachusetts, Canona, New York, and Des Moines, Iowa, okay? Out of the 12 locations I ran, only one of them was in a city limit. The rest were, as I believe, maybe said anyways, they're all in farmland and in townships for a reason. The city traffic is too much. I can attest to it. I've seen deaths happen in front of a couple of my stores based off that left turn. So the location where it's trying to be squeezed in at is the only thing I'm against for our city. Do I think it would be an amazing add to our city? Yes, just not where it's at. And I don't know if you guys have any further questions about that, but those 3 stores are prime examples of the left turn being very hazardous to the general public. And I have 2 daughters in Romulus that live in Romulus. I never want to see either one of them get injured by a semi turning left because we decided to put a pilot there, and that's my biggest concern.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Any other comments in the back?
Good evening, council, and thank you guys for your time. So my name is Andrew. I'm a very involved member of the Romulus community, and I'm here just to express my opposition to pilot. So the proposed site sits directly across I-94 from residential neighborhoods, including homes along McBride Street with no meaningful separation. It's also in close proximity to the schools, library, city hall, and senior center. At the scale, this project would generate hundreds of heavy traffic trips per day, along with constant truck traffic, diesel emissions, noise, and 24-hour activity that extend beyond the site. Those impacts cannot be fully mitigated through the design or conditions. I think this is simply the wrong location for use of the scale. So for the city's master plan says heavy trucking uses should be located away from residential areas, and this proposal repeats problems that the city has always identified. 150-plus truck, 24-hour operation is simply not compatible with surrounding neighborhoods and community facilities. The city has a responsibility to protect existing neighborhoods when considering new development, and under the special land use standards, this project must be compatible, must not be harmful to public health and safety, must align with the master plan, and this proposal does not meet those standards. For those reasons, I respectfully urge you guys to deny this request. I've also brought with me signatures from community members who are your supporters, who also share these concerns, and I urge you guys, go check out locations around here, because anyone can, say this is gonna be something, but it's better to visualize it and actually see it. And so I have copies for you guys to hand out.
I need one for this guy here. He's not here. We'll give it to him.
Thank you.
You come up here tearing up, huh? All right. No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Any more comments from the audience? Madam Clerk, can we close that out?
Yes, ma'am. If there's nothing else, the agenda calls for adjournment, and the time is 6:03.
So moved, adjourned.
Support.
Been motion by Mr. Wadsworth, second by Ms. Abdo to adjourn this special meeting. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Bullock?
Yes.
Mr. Wilhite?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, we are adjourned. Next meeting starts now.
I'm gonna stand for a minute now.
Oh, sorry, let me pull it up. Okay. We just got it today.
Yeah, use that one because it's teacher funded.
I know you did, and I heard you give that one.
Am I in your way? I'm sorry.
Did you see that couple that was sitting there? The two men?
Yeah, we're back.
The one with the brown braids and the guy next to him?
Yeah, we're back.
They live on my street. And they just left. And I wish I would have known that they were leaving. Because A, I needed to introduce myself. I think he recognized me.
don't think I'll need to be able to talk, though.
Huh?
They're not, just leave it there.
We can just share, I'll just hand it to you.
Just to like help build up the resume for the and eventually end up getting a graduate internship in the city of Bethlehem. That's great though. You lucked out. That's awesome. Sorry. That's great. That's great. So you started, I feel like you started the same week I did. I did. Okay. That's a pretty cool place, isn't it? I like it a lot. I'm digging it. Yeah.
If everyone can please find their seats so that we can begin our next special meeting. Are you ready? You need a few more minutes? Do you all need a few more minutes? Oh, I'm sorry. Does he need a few more minutes? Gary, are you good? Are you sure? Okay, okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Madam Chair, they just need one more minute. Okay, all right. She doesn't see me. Okay.
Nothing showing when they want to rise. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, but it was, they started in my area. I started from the followers in 4 years. So I learned a lot. I mean, did a lot of that. It's pretty interesting. Great executive director.
She said she got the email. That's what I asked her if she talked to you, but I told her she could sit by her mom for some
I just got the email and they were like, we should be there.
I did.
We will begin our special meeting in 1 minute. I think. If everyone, again, can find your seats, we're going to begin our next special meeting. And today's date is Monday, April 27th, 2026, and this is the City of Romulus City Council Special Meeting Study Session. The purpose of this meeting is to discuss the proposed 26-27 fiscal year city budgets. Madam Chair and Council, we did have roll call at our last special meeting, and we do have a quorum present for this meeting. The special meeting agenda reads as follows. Number 1, roll call. Number 2, agenda. Number 3, discussion, proposed 26-27 fiscal year city budgets. Number 4 is public comment, and number 5 is adjournment. And a motion will be in order to accept tonight's special meeting agenda as presented.
So move for the agenda as presented.
Support.
It's been motion by Mr. Wadsworth, seconded by Ms. Roscoe for the approval of the special meeting agenda. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wilhite?
Yes.
Mr. Bullock?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Number 3 is discussion, and I believe our finance director, Ms. Maria Ferris, is going to open up. Oh, correction. Mayor McCray will have the opening remarks.
Thank you. Good evening, City Council, Madam Treasurer, Madam Clerk, Deputy Clerk. Proud to present to you the fruits of a lot of hard work. It's another balanced budget where we underspent the approved amount from the previous year. We've increased slightly spending in public safety, infrastructure, and our parks, 3 crucial areas I think we need to. But we have another balanced budget for you this year. Like I said, with small increases in spending in areas we desperately need to do that. So I want to thank the finance team for all their hard work they did here, and also all the directors we have here, because we are still in needs over wants when it comes to budgets right here. So again, another very modest budget where we return to the council with a few small increases, and I'll turn it over to Maria.
It's not working.
It's not working.
Security.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Oh, there we go. And thank you, Mike.
Much better.
Hello, everyone. Well, thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, Council, City Administrative Staff and present, Chief of Staff, and everyone else that is watching live from YouTube. I just first want to start with thanking the opportunity to be here tonight. I appreciate your time and continued commitment to serving our community. Also, too, our main focus tonight is to review the fiscal year 26-27 prelim budget, and just letting council know that we are making decisions based to best serve our residents and the future of the city. So, on that note, we will get into the presentation that you have in front of you. So the first section is the general fund. The general fund is covered, and that was the prelim budget that was sent out. It covered by the function summary of pages 9 through 53. And within that function, that covered council, mayor, clerk, financial services, treasurer, public safety, public service, community and economic development, and recreation and cultural. These are all departments within the general fund that makes up the majority of our expenses. So I would like to touch on some revenues within the general fund. One of our largest revenue sources are property taxes. So currently this year, we're estimated to get a little over $11,214,000 in property taxes. At this right here, the numbers overall indicate that there will be a 2.7% increase. And this is slightly increased due to the result of a taxable value increase. Also, too, some highlights on the revenues for the general fund are our administrative charges. And these are due to other funds. And each year during the budget process, we review, we analyze for accuracy, and we update and make adjustments as necessary. Another large revenue that comes into the general fund is our state shared revenues. Those are estimated to slightly increase, and also those increases are a revenue source that are made by state legislator and local input. I mean, we don't have much control over that. We're potentially will see about a 3% increase. Also, too, within the general fund, we do have some other fees. I'm going to skip the last one, and we'll talk about it in another slide. Let's see. So some other general fund revenues are fines and forfeits that come in directly from the police department. So our audited numbers for fiscal year 24-25 is we received a little over $98,990, And currently, in fiscal year 25-26, I'm estimating around 100,000, as well as in fiscal year 26-27, I've estimated around 100,000. That has been consistent, the number. So for budgeting purposes, I didn't want to overinflate that revenue. Our investment earnings within the general fund have shown an increase, and also we monitor that closely to indicate future trends. Also within the general fund, we have our building licenses and permits, which have remained stable and increased with all the new development in the city for fiscal year 24-25, fiscal year 25-26, and we are projecting that for 26-27. Also too, another part of the revenues, when we go through the budgeting process, we ask all the departments to review any fees that are charged and making sure that we review them each year associated with services that are provided. And that's a fee schedule, and you'll see that come to you later on in this budget process. So let's talk about the expenditures. It's always nice talking about the revenues, but unfortunately we do have the expenditures that come. So when we go through the budget process, finance goes through and we review the cost of auditing services for each fund, looking at all the expenses where we take in the rate of inflation and we charge out this cost to all the funds. Also to a increase to the city, which I'm working on the renewal right now, is our property and liability insurance. This is all the insurances for all the fleet and all the property and any asset of the city. I'm estimating a 3% increase for this year, which is down from last year about 2%. As well as, even though we are estimating a 3% increase, each year from MML, we are still receiving a dividend back. So that is good. Also too, within the general fund, there are expenses related to the motor vehicle fund. So we take a look at those rates. We adjust those based on our capital needs of public services and works. And also too, we continue to review these because we do have aging fleet within the city. Also to another expense that is within the general fund is technology services. Those are rental rates that we review those each year. I work with IT, and we take a look at the cost of services, how much it costs for the department to run, and equipment and service needs. The majority of these expenses are pretty much calls for service, and services are expensive. So we can touch on general fund. As the mayor opened and said, in each year we really strive to make sure that we have a balanced budget, and also it is exciting to talk to council and administrative staff when we do, the expenses are anticipated to fall under the amended budget. Also too, in fiscal year 25-26, the general fund revenues are anticipated to come in over our amended budget. And one of these large increases is the revenue as a result of new development and building permits. Now, the building permits revenue is within the general fund, but it is restricted. Also, too, general fund balance remains consistent and stable. Industry standard and best practices are that a community should maintain a fund balance between 20 and 25%. The city's general fund balance is meeting the industry standard, which I'll talk to and show in the next couple slides. So currently, if the budget, the prelim budget, is adopted as presented, the city's general fund unassigned fund balance, that means can be used for any purposes, is estimated to be over $7,088,266. So I have a graph.
What's that in comparison to the last year, the last budget?
So Ms. Talley, our next slide.
Okay.
Overage.
So let's go, there we go. And I was looking on here and I was like, why does it say 5-year? It's actually a 7-year. So, however, 1 year is projected. So we'll just say this is a 6-year history with 1 year projected. So we will see each year how between the years our fund balance will grow, it'll grow. It stayed pretty flat between 21, 22, 23. You'll see an increase within 23, 24, and that was a direct effect from our ARPA funds. We've been spending those down a little bit each year. You will see also too in 24, 25 that there was a decrease of fund balance. However, as the mayor stated, our increased investment in public safety has been a direct reduction for that, as well as the infrastructure in city parks. So as I stated in the previous slide, that our projected is a little over 7 million, which that would leave us at 26% fund balance, which meets the industry standard. Let's see. Give me a second to catch up here. So our next slide here is our special revenue funds. So these are funds that are restricted and committed expenses for the revenues. I did send out our preliminary budget, so if you do have any questions on any of these funds, I'm happy to take questions. If not, I can move forward.
Any questions? Moving forward.
Okay. So let's do, oh, I got to keep up on all these, my slides. Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about our budget information for 25, 26. So another revenue source that does come into our roads, which is 202 and 203, major and local roads, is our Act 51 money. That is a calculation, and I won't get into the details. However, there are a couple parameters, and right now we are showing approximate of increase of 2.5%. And those funding and that sharing monies comes from the roads, and it's specifically for road projects, for local and major roads. Also too, between the two funds, which is 202 and 203, we do transfers from major to local roads, and this helps maintain our roads for our capital asset plan. A highlight for local paving roads in 25, 26 is we started and we will continue in 26, 27. We invested an estimated of $5.1 million in repairs. And the projects are based on road conditions and available resources. So local roads that will start is Wade and Superior, 4th Street subdivision, Dorset Street, Harrison, and Leroy in 2026. Also for major roads, which is continuing on for 25, 26, 26, 27, is the reimbursement for the Wayne Road paving county match. And our next section of the prelim budget for the component units is that covers Brownfield, Tifa, and our DDA. And these are funds that usually typically have an authority or a bond, authority over a board that oversees them. Do you have any questions regarding this? If not, I will move forward.
Any questions?
Any questions? Okay.
Moving forward.
All right. Let's get the party started. Okay. All right, so debt service funds. So the debt service funds pay pretty much what it is they pay all the debt for the city. Not all the debt is captured in these funds. There are some in the water and sewer fund. However, the majority of the debt service funds cover 305, 306, 352, debt and sewer and water debt. There is some exciting news. You know, debt service is not that exciting. However, the city administration had an opportunity to refinance. They call it refunding of bonds.
Yes.
And it saved the city over $1.3 million. And we did this for the callable bonds that were eligible. So it's quite an excitement. exciting. I was excited to go through the process. It was pretty nerdy, but it was very fun. And I like saving money. I do.
Just a quick comment. I mean, I know we like to have fun with you about how much you love to do numbers, but if you guys weren't really watching those numbers, we wouldn't have seen that opportunity. We'd have missed
Yeah.
it. So thank you for doing your due diligence and watching it and loving numbers and being so nerdy about it because, you know, saving us $1.3 million right in that neighborhood is a big number. So
Yeah.
thank you.
No,
Thank you, Mayor.
Maria.
Of course.
I'm sorry, this is the A team right here.
The
I'm
A-team,
just
right.
saying. That's the
Well, we did
A-team.
get an A on our audit,
Yeah,
so.
that's right.
So let's go to the next slide, and that is our capital project funds. That's 403, 482, and 495. And these are pretty much just capital project funds that cover purchasing, construction, and improving long-term assets. These are pretty boring funds, but they're in the budget, so I put it up there. If there's any questions, if not, I will move forward. Okay, so let's talk about the enterprise fund, which is our water and sewer
Yeah.
fund. I just created that logo today. I was pretty proud of it. Wanted to encompass the water and the sewer. So the enterprise fund, you know, we hear this is water and sewer. This is a fund that solely is responsible for providing services to our residents for any type of water or sewer service, all encompassing all services. I'm not going to tell you the cruel base of accounting because no one really wants to hear about that. However, I will let you know for the water and sewer. So the time of our budget, we don't always have all the rates and all the data and information to present to council. However, the water and sewer rates will be brought in June as historically has been brought. And there's a calculation, and it's based on, there are some outside sources, which are DUA and GLWA. So they give us their proposed system-wide rate, and then we have to calculate how to make sure that pretty much just pay for our bills and service our residents. Currently, right now, the proposed system-wide rate for DUA is 7.08%, and GLWA system-wide is 6.56%. And as I stated, we'll be bringing those rates back soon. As soon as DUA meets, I think they meet mid-May, then they'll give us their actual. These are just still proposed.
What is that in comparison to what last year? I always got to make that comparison.
It was similar.
They are
I think
similar?
last year was 8.23%. I don't want to, but I mean,
Right.
it's nothing that it's not 11%, we'll just say. Yeah, slightly lower than last year.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So let's go on some water highlights. A couple years ago, Plant Moran and myself, we created a water rate study. Actually, they created it and they took information and they came back. It's best practice to do a water rate study just to make sure that you're charging appropriate amounts for the services that you're providing. We will use that template again to calculate the rates. It's a really cool template and it really assists with giving us rates.
I see you laughing, Gary.
I know. I am there. The water and sewer fund, I'm estimating about a 3% increase, which will align with inflation too, overall in the water and sewer. This is just an estimate. A highlight within the water and sewer fund is the lead line, the lead service line investigation project. This is state mandated and also is ongoing. I did talk about this slightly last year. The good news is the city did receive $1.2 million for the STAG grant, and that helped offset. Didn't pay for it all, but it helped offset some of the lead service removal. So that's the goal is, to find all the lead service within the city and remove it.
When did we get that? Because I remember, it's been about a year or so?
Yeah, we're going to be receiving around $600,000 of the revenue this year. We
Okay.
received some last year as well.
Got it, thank you.
So I thought it would be still good to highlight that. And as I stated in the previous slide, Great Lakes or GLWA, they've proposed the average system-wide increase of 6.5%. I'm sorry, 6.56, and DUA has proposed a 7.08%. So again, it's a lot of percentages, but once we get the finals, then we can calculate the rates based on what to service our residents and pay for our bills. Rouge Valley, that's also another system that provides to the city, and I typically propose a 4% increase. I just do an estimate. Let's see, I gotta catch up to you guys. All right, so we are budget information. Yep, okay. So some other highlights too is we do have still, the EPA levy is still in effect. We will not be creating or asking for any type of taxes for the EPA levy bonds. Those are due to expire pretty soon. Our estimate is to be paid off in 27-28. However, we have enough residual cash and within that fund that we probably will not have to levy for 27-28. Also, too, a highlight from the budget is the water and sewer fund. We'll start 5 Points Water Main, and that's in fiscal year 26-27. And the estimated cost of that project, a portion of it, because they're expensive, is $100,000, and that's in the budget. I just wanted to highlight that. Also, too, historically, the sewer debt fund and the water debt fund, they make contributions to the water and sewer fund to help pay for projects. So sewer will contribute $200,000, as well as the water debt will contribute $60,000, and that's been a historical amount. It's any questions? Yes.
I just wanted to ask about the EPA. So I see 26-27. 26-27, but you mentioned 27 and 28 as well?
Mm-hmm.
So both, potentially?
No, we will not levy any tax. And I received a letter from the county based on the residual amount that we have. And I don't, if the county decides to take on some new debt, potentially they would have to, pass on those taxes. But at this point right now, it sounds, I've talked to the county, John Sledge, who's ahead of this, it doesn't appear that we will be levying anything, for sure not for 26-27. I don't want to say for sure, and then we do have to levy for 27-28. However, the bonds are due to be paid off 27-28.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, so. All right, so then next is our internal service funds. So that is composed of our motor vehicle fund, our technology services, and as well as the property and liability insurance. So the motor vehicle fund, that's the internal service fund, and that helps purchase vehicles and support the city. Then it charges back to other funds respectfully for maintenance, repairs, and operating expenses within that fund, and is supported by other funds. And again, we watch closely the aging fleet and make sure that we are on a good replacement cycle. So we purchase a few vehicles each year, and we don't lease currently right now. We purchase them because we feel interest rates and things like that. It's just more cost efficient to purchase the vehicles. Technology services, again, that's just touching on, they're an internal service fund that provides all the IT to all the departments. Also to our computers, and as well as services for everything that's needed for IT. They touch a little bit of everything. And lastly, which is in their own internal service fund, is our property and liability insurance. So like I said, I'm currently under the renewal process, which doesn't align with our budget timing. However, I'm projecting a 3% increase. So our premiums are around $544,000 per year for the whole city, for everything. Okay. No questions? Is there any questions? Internal service? Okay. All right, so I'm pretty proud of this slide. I created this today. I wanted to find something that demonstrates retiree healthcare or healthcare. So this is our fiduciary fund, and this is our retiree healthcare, or it's called public employee healthcare. So this fund solely is responsible for our OPEB, or our other post-employment benefits. So allocations are put aside for each department based on their current active employees who are eligible for retiree health care. Not all employees are eligible. So there is a small population of employees that are eligible. We make sure each year that we put money aside so we can make sure that this is a benefit that is sustainable for long term. And also,
Madam Chairman? if I
Mr.
may.
Wadsworth?
I'm going to ask the same question every year. Is the court doing anything with their payments?
so.
Oh, he says that much. Well, that's better than that much.
Yeah, so to answer that question, historically, for the last couple of years, they have not paid their premiums. However, they did pay their February and their March premiums for current and retirees.
Thank
So
you.
that does show some progress. But the previous months for fiscal year 25-26, no. But we do have 2 months of payments.
Are we still giving them a bill? Or,
Well, we have,
Well-
yeah, we bill them monthly.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, yes.
All right, fine.
Yep. It is good to know that they have paid their February and their March premiums.
thank you.
You're welcome. And for this, lastly, for this funding of this fund, they went from 12.71% to funded to 22.71%. So we are definitely going in the right
Good,
way
good.
to fund this for the retirees. So just a few information, and each time as we present the preliminary budget, sometimes there's changes, edits, so there's our uniform chart of accounts that always changes, GASB updates. We go through and just make sure that we are in compliance with those standards. Also to just making sure that we review staffing and accuracy for our fire, fringe, and any staff for the city, making sure it's accurate. And also to just updating some information for the water and sewer for the lead line removal. So our
Chair,
next steps.
Through the chair,
Yes.
just one question on the lead line removal. Don't we have like 5 years to complete all that throughout the city?
I
Isn't
think
that how it works?
I'm going to defer to Roberto on that one.
Yeah, while we're talking about it, I was
Okay.
just wondering what year we're in and.
Well, the lead line removal has been like an ongoing project. And we have a requirement from Eagle for the last probably like 8 to 10 years that we had to take out 5% of our known lead lines a year.
That's
So
where I
that
get
was a
by.
requirement, and that's like till 2040.
Okay.
And then the whole controversy is like spending public money on private property. That was a past lawsuit that all municipalities lost, and that's how we got onto the grant that Maria's talking about. We solicited grant funds and we were awarded. So we have $1.2 million to complete our obligation of that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? So we'll go on to the next exciting steps of this budget process. May 11th, we have our public hearing of the preliminary budget, as well as May 26th. I will be back in front of you, and we will have our final budget adoption and appropriations presented to council.
Any other questions from the dais? For me, I think I appreciate both of you guys. I go through the budget process with you every year. It's starting to make more and more sense. There's still a lot of moving parts with it, but you guys do a great job. You tag team well together. You're the A team to me. Mark, thank you he was sitting in on a lot of the budget meetings as well. D. Jones, he was able to sit in a couple. It just brings a lot more enlightenment to actually sit in and see kind of what's going on behind the scenes. So thank you. Thank you guys
Ms.
for all
Talley.
your work. It's truly appreciated that the city's funds are being managed well.
And I just want to say thank you to the mayor, chief of staff, and all the administrative staff that helped us do this as well. It takes a team and it takes us all together. There is a lot of work that goes into this 237-page document. But we do work, on what is the best needs of the city, and that's our main goal.
And I do need to commend our department heads. I say this all the time. They know their craft. Like, they're very impressive, and don't let Maria fool y'all. She's a taskmaster. She's a nice taskmaster, but she's a taskmaster. She be on top of that budget. I mean, just like the mayor was saying, she's very, this is her thing. This is her craft, and our department heads the same way. Y'all know y'all craft. I really appreciate the directors. They know, they come in there ready. Maria's very detailed. Gary, they be on them, but they come in ready with their items and what they're doing. So kudos to you guys as well. Y'all work well together as a team, and then the outcome is this. So thank you.
Thank
you, Mayor.
Thank you. So if there's any questions or no other questions, that's all I have for tonight.
Thanks, Maria. Thanks, Gary.
Thank you.
Very good presentation, thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
And I wanted to thank you personally just for all the questions that you answered, even though it gave me 20 more.
That's okay.
You know.
I told you I get really excited, so you can come call me anytime.
Well,
Yeah, this is
I'm
kind of my
learning-
jam.
I'm
Budget's my
learning,
jam.
and you make it a lot easier to pick up a lot of this stuff.
I'm glad to hear that.
Is there any more discussion? Nothing else? Nothing from department heads? Well then, it takes us to number 4, public comment, and this is a portion of the agenda for those who are in the audience and would like to have something to say or have comments. You may do so at this time. Please raise your hand, and after you've been acknowledged by the chairperson, approach the podium. Please note that you will have 3 minutes to speak, and any additional time will be upon the consent of the chairperson. Madam Chair, I do not have any written requests from the audience to speak.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the audience that would like to speak? I think they did all their work. We can close that out.
So noted. Takes us to number 5, adjournment, and the time is 6:49 PM. A motion will be in order, please.
Support.
Thank you.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, seconded by Mr. Wilhite to adjourn this special meeting. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Wilhite?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Bullock?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, we are adjourned. Next meeting is regular meeting at 7:30.
The next,
7:15.
we have a
Oh,
closed session at
7:15.
7:15.
Okay.